As I'm writing this, the anime adaptation of the Apothecary Diaries is about to drop, and from the trailers, it looks like it's going to be absolutely freaking gorgeous. How's the story though? Well, that's what I'll be talking about today. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present my review of the Apothecary Diaries light novel series. The Apothecary Diaries is set in a world that greatly resembles ancient China, but is not directly tied to the history of our world. In it, we follow Mao Mao, a humble apothecary. She had a quiet life working in the red light district under the tutelage of her adoptive father, until she was kidnapped by slavers and sold to the imperial palace to work as a maid for the emperor's harem. Mao Mao hopes to serve out her contract there in peace. But after leaving an anonymous note warning a consort about lead-based makeup, she happens to capture the eyes of the head eunuch, Jinshi. Thus, Mao Mao gains new employment as a poison tester for the emperor's favored consort. And she only becomes more and more deeply embroiled in the politicking and schemes of the imperial palace from there. The story that follows is equal parts medical drama, episodic mystery, political thriller, slice of life, and will they won't they romance. Yep, Mao Mao wears quite a few different hats in this series. So, why might you be interested in reading the Apothecary Diaries? Well, easily the strongest thing it has going for it is Mao Mao herself. While being relatively diminutive, she is a force of nature. Curious as the cat that is her namesake, she can't seem to help poking her nose into any interesting cases she comes across and trying out any poison that she can get her hands on. She thinks she's trying to stay out of trouble, but her lack of fear of authority and tendency to hyperfixation causes her differential bearing and diplomatic language to slip somewhat, resulting in highly entertaining antics. A couple of my favorite incidents would be when she launches her operation to distribute erotic literature while providing related lessons to concubines in the rear palace, and when she convinces a very senior nobleman to put on an evening crossplay show to the light of fireflies. Mao Mao aside, I'd also give this series praise for how cleverly this story is crafted. Although many of the initial medical or mystery cases appear to be one-off affairs, they will often get called back into relevance several volumes later. I appreciate the author's ability to make these events pull double duty, not just as an immediate problem for Mao Mao to solve, but also as an opportunity for world building and to set up for events further down the road. The world building as a whole for this series is masterfully done. From Mao Mao's perspective of having worked at the brothels of the Red Light District, the Rear Palace, and the Imperial Court, we get a good idea of how a broad swath of society functions, from the struggles of the prostitutes and beggars, all the way up to the machinations of court officials and the rule of the Emperor himself. As the story progresses, our understanding of this country's history, politics, and geography expands and comes to the point where it feels like it could all be genuinely real in some alternate version of Earth. So, the protagonist's great, the story's well crafted, and the world feels real. What's not to love? Well, quite a bit actually, with the most glaring issue being pacing. Apothecary's Diary has a damn slow start. Most of the early mysteries neither feel urgent to solve, nor are the solutions that interesting. And in between those cases, there are sections that are essentially just dryly written slice of life. As the series progresses, this significantly improves. The stakes of the mysteries to be solved actually start to impact characters we care about. An expanded cast and hints of romance make the slice of life sections more interesting. Even in later volumes though, I still feel like every so often I have to force myself to push through some of the slower sections to get to the next bit where something interesting is happening. Tied into this is that the mysteries / medical quandaries / other random problems that Mao Mao has to solve are really hit or miss in their execution. Some are genuinely interesting, but many others are overly simple or seemingly pointless. When for every resurrection, drug, or kidnapping case, there's also a random craftsman dispute to resolve, it quickly dilutes the quality of the story as a whole. Finally, on a more nitpicky note, the descriptions of Jinshi's beauty can be a bit excessive. Look, author, I understand Jinshi is pretty. Like, really, really pretty. Bring the kingdom to its knees level pretty. I got it already. So please, I don't need a reminder every single time he enters a new scene. The repetition gets tiring really quickly. With all that said, do I think the Apothecary Diaries is worth reading? Yes I do. Mao Mao is a brilliant character, and carries the series hard enough for me to forgive some of its more lackluster parts. That being said, your mileage may vary. If you're coming to this story just for the mystery elements, I think you'll be sorely disappointed, and this is definitely not the easiest read if you're short on patience. Hopefully, the anime adaptation will fix some of the pacing issues. Anyways, thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Cheers!